was a master carpenter by trade and could read and write, which gave me a distinct advantage in life. I arrived in Philadelphia in 1801, made my way to New Orleans by 1819, and later to Biloxi in 1820. Biloxi's sea breezes and natural beauty enchanted me. I immediately recognized her potential. Surely many New Orleanians would want to come to Biloxi, no? The businessman in me was intrigued.
I am Cora White, originally of Hines County. I arrived in beautiful Biloxi in 1890 as a new bride. I married Walter White, a lawyer who would eventually become a prominent judge here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. That man built me a mansion with a view of the Mexican Sea that was beyond compare. After a few summers of playing hostess to both our large families, mine and Walter's, well, I realized that our home was an ideal vacation rental, perhaps even a hotel. The businesswoman in me was intrigued.
I'm Tony Ragusin, and I was born here in Biloxi in 1902, the son of an immigrant Yugoslavian fisherman. Now, our people made an enormously positive contribution to the burgeoning seafood industry in those days, and men like my father helped build Biloxi into the seafood capital of the world. I was only 8 when my daddy died from a wound he received from a stingray. And by the time I was 9, I was working in the seafood factories, earning just a few what we called shrimp nickels for a full long day's work to help support my family. These early years were hard, but they helped make me stronger, and they made me more determined to help make Biloxi, the city of my father's choosing, into a better place for all of us. The native son in me was intrigued.
The Biloxi of my day had no hotel, and there was no beach road, just a trail where your present-day Highway 90 would eventually exist. The town was really just a small village comprised of fishermen, farmers, and craftsmen. Most commerce took place by way of trade or barter. I was residing in New Orleans, a busy port city already experiencing some industrialization. My children attended schools, but none existed in Biloxi. Upon my first scouting visit here, I found a tract of land ripe for development of vacation rentals, possibly something like cottages. I purchased the land which fronted the beach for 600 feet and extended more than a mile northward. It was located between what is now Lemuse and Rue Magnolia Street. I paid $800 in gold. Was I a visionary or a fool? Only time would tell.
But once I convinced Walter that our home was far too large, even for our own large family, I began to take in boarders. I love preparing breakfast for our guests each morning. Now, call it a hunch or an intuition, but I just knew that there was so much more potential to the White House, as we took to calling it. I also knew that Biloxi's identity as an ideal vacation spot was at hand, and I was going to have a part in leading the world to her door. Now, upon my urging, Walter purchased a large tract of land just north of our home and several surrounding houses. By 1906, I began to advertise for guests in both the Daily Herald and the New Orleans Times-Picayune. Hold on just a moment, I'm not sure what that sound is. The ad read, "The White House Hotel, West End Beach, Biloxi, Mississippi. Beautiful large grounds on the beach, an electric car line, boating, fishing, good food, good beds, modern conveniences. Cottages make accommodations for the family, ideal for the seashore. Rates $8 to $12 per week. Mrs. Cora White, proprietress." I was so excited. Was I a visionary or a fool? Only time would tell.
As a young man, I showed considerable talent for writing and for drawing. And my first job was as a newspaperman for the Daily Herald, our local paper. But soon enough, I was writing for national publications such as the Saturday Evening Post, Life magazine, and National Geographic. Now, about this time, I took up photography, became a very avid picture maker, and frequently used my photographs to illustrate or to document the stories that I wrote about life here on the coast. And my photographs of such local cultural events like the blessing of the fleet usually accompanied the newspaper stories that I sent out over the wires of the Associated Press. I guess if I had to